Hey everyone, welcome to Agent Paranormal. It's Sunday, May 17th. We're back. We even brought Peter along with us. Hi, Pete.
Hey, Pete.
Hi, guys. How's everybody doing?
So this is sort of like the Brady Bunch. So to my left is Vicky and Chris. To my right is Kevin and Maeve. And
I don't know. It might be different.
It's Pete.
I think we're above them on the screen.
So as we are here dedicated to doing this show, working hard. It's Pete's ice cream time. So oh good Lord.
There's cat hair on it.
Oh my God.
Nice. So anyways, thank you everyone for joining us. We got a great episode. This can't go on all night, Pete. Seriously.
I'm so excited you got Dustin Pari.
No more shit.
We do. All the way from Rhode Island, Massachusetts, one of those New England states. We've got Dustin Pari from Ghost Hunters International to join us. First of all, we want to thank our sponsor for tonight's show. EJA Moving is sponsoring us. If you need to move, call 315-335-0516 or go to ejmoving.com. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to move yourself, but man, it's call these guys, ejamoving.com. They'll take good care of you. So here we are, another exciting episode and another exciting guest. How do you guys feel?
Feeling pretty good about this.
Whoop, whoop, wow.
Trying
I
to
miss
think,
you guys.
my shirt's on backwards, but yet it looks right on the camera.
It's the magic of photography. They say the camera adds 10 pounds, and sometimes the camera actually makes your clothing look the right way, even when you put it on backwards.
I actually weigh about $110, but should have been cameras.
Damn, I know. I'm hearing you, man. I'm hearing you. So for our listening audience, we haven't even seen each other in weeks. So here we are.
Nice.
So, which has been nice. So we're itching to get out. We're itching to get out and do some investigating. We're itching. I'm just itching to go out and go to Dunkin'
some
Donuts
food
and get a
with us,
freaking
yeah.
coffee or go to a restaurant and sit and talk with human beings. Have someone bump into me and be rude to me. I'm all for that. I'm looking forward to that type of interaction. But till we get there, it's the paranormal at home lockdown version of Agent Paranormal.
Yep.
You can come social distance with me if you want.
That's really not social distancing then.
Well, we hung out with people. So
where are we now in social distancing? We're at a mask and 6 foot, right? That's pretty much it, right? Gloves, I guess, if you want. I mean, I haven't worn gloves at all. I've done the mask, and God knows I've tried to social distance from people by 6 foot, but old people in the store walk right out in front of me, and I mean, I don't even say anything. The other guy, I was grocery shopping the other day. A guy walked into the store, looked right at me, had no mask on. I said, "Oops, I think I screwed up," and just walked right back out of the store. Okay, so yes, Peter.
I seen one that will top every. I'm sorry, not that I'm one-upping.
Sure.
I saw somebody smoking a cigarette through their face mask. They didn't cut a hole in the mask. They were just smoking through the face mask.
Yeah, see? See?
Do you have your cool mask? Or
That's innovation. Even in the COVID-19 pandemic crisis, people are innovative. You saw the one where people made the mask out of the milk jugs, right? And then put the straw or the beer up to it.
saw that, yo.
Genius.
You see the French one? They got a wine hole.
Yeah.
I saw that.
And then you should get a T-shirt that has your name and a picture of what you look like on it,
Yes.
with an arrow pointing up to your chin as you've got the mask and the glasses on, so
Well, that
people
way I
know who you
don't-
are. Hey, look, it's Chuck.
That way, when I go to the store, I don't come home with the wrong wife.
Yeah, good
Are
point.
you supposed to be
Their
going
face mask,
together?
you don't recognize them. So
Good
Make
point.
it easier to rob a bank. I'll just wear a shirt with Chris's face on it.
Well, yeah. I remember the signs at banks and even some stores. They don't recommend you come in with sunglasses and a baseball cap, and now people are walking with sunglasses, a baseball cap, and a mask.
Yeah.
Go figure. And yet, no one's robbing banks. No one's robbing stores. All right. So now that we've caught up on each other, and we've enjoyed watching Peter eat his ice cream.
With peanut butter in a donut. And a brownie.
Did you seriously put peanut butter in your ice cream?
Yeah, there's a little dollop of it on the side.
Oh,
Is that like a ho-ho also broken up in there?
This is a time of war. What the hell am I going to do? Normally, I would just go to Banana and get something.
Leave him alone. He's diabetic.
I know.
I got unsweetened iced tea.
Yeah, he made sure that he got the healthy iced tea to wash down the ice cream, the chocolate, the peanut butter,
and the ho-hos.
and all the sugar in the ho-hos. Yes. Good call. Good call. So, guys, are you excited for tonight's show? Because I am.
I am. I've been looking
Definitely.
forward to talking with him.
Trying not to stick my head into that ceiling fan. Hopefully that's...
Oh, dear. Is that low?
No, it doesn't it? Looks like I could just get myself a haircut. Just going in and out. But no, it's about 3.5, 4 feet above me, so
You look like a
we're
little
good.
Rascal's propeller hat there.
So we're back to Disruption Network on the D, Agent Paranormal. Of course, we're asking everyone to follow Disruption Network at Disruption Network on social media. They've got a lot of great content, including our show. We're just kind of being silly, folks, right now. This quarantine thing, I think, is getting to all of us, and we do a much better job when we're in the studio. But, you know, Pete's not allowed to bring ice cream into the studio. So.
It'd be up to me, trust me.
So, all right, so let's talk a little bit about our guests tonight. So normally we don't bring our guests into a little bit later in the show because we want to talk about things, but since we've been quarantined, we're not really out doing any investigation or anything. So, and tonight's guest is a very special guest. I've known him for a number of years. The guy, he's a great guy once you get to know him, meet him. And I think his love for pie kind of outweighs my love for pie because I'm not a cake guy. I'm a pie guy. Loves pie. Loves pie. So in addition to that, he's on my screen right now. Who's that good-looking dude? Is that Dustin Pari?
Hello.
Nice hair.
Oh, almost. There we go.
There we are.
Dustin, what's going on?
Hey, brother, how you been?
I've been doing well, thank you, and welcome to
Good.
the show.
Good, man. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
God, your hair never changes, man. It's always...
No, I've been trimming it myself because of the the whole quarantine thing. But it's easily maintainable because it's just naturally an overgrown, messy look.
So you can use that thing they call, the inversion table, where you go upside down? We were just talking about this.
Yeah, you can do that.
Right? And then just go right straight across.
Yeah, that's it. It's like mowing the lawn.
You got a clean cut, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
The hair's always looking good, man.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Someday it'll get gray like mine. I still got it all.
We're getting there.
There's
Yeah, that's
just
all
a
that
peak.
matters. Yeah, it's
just
okay.
a peak, man.
It's all right.
It's just a peak. A little hair dye. So, I thought about doing this long introduction about you, but I think so many people know who you are. I mean, Ghost Hunters.
I appreciate it.
Ghost Hunters International.
Yeah.
Known as the Paranormal Rockstar. I mean...
We've done a couple of things.
You've done a few different things.
Yeah.
Destination Truth. I mean, Josh Gates is a great guy to work with. I've met him on a few occasions. And so here you are, author, lecturer, motivator, researcher. I mean, what else?
Just a blue-collar guy trying to get by in life, buddy. That's about it.
Aren't we all, man? Aren't we all?
That's about it.
So what you drinking there, my friend?
This is a bamboo rum, a bamboo caramel rum. I really enjoy it.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah. I fancy myself a bit of a pirate, so I like this.
And I brought water to an alcohol party.
We're drinking
All right.
Utica Club, one of our sponsors from the St. Nick Brewery at FX in Utica.
There you go.
So we've got beer, we've got rum. Pete's eating ice cream.
That's
with
good.
peanut butter and a ho-ho. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
I'm
And I
diabetic
brought water.
the disease.
And he's diabetic.
Oh, dear Lord.
So, Pete, if you go down in the middle of the show,
Not it.
someone's going to have to call 911. So,
Well, we'll just let him lay down. We'll bring candy in. And we'll be good.
yeah. She'll have that big EpiPen and just give him that stab right in the heart. Get the adrenaline going.
They know me at the ER. We're good.
You know what? He's not even joking. They do know him at the AR. I'm dead serious. He's been there a lot. So
Let's go like that fast pass lane. They bring you right in.
Yep.
Nice.
So when Pete flies, there's a lane for the rest of the people, and he's got that easy pass, whatever the thing is that you makes you right through security.
He just keeps the ER bracelet on and just shows it.
I got that little card they punch each time I go in there.
If you got have you got the free blood work yet, or you're still working on that? One more punch in the card?
Working on it. I do need a good colonoscopy or something.
Wow.
That's not something I do. I don't perform those. So.
Yeah, so you work in the medical field, right?
Yeah, we do actually. Yeah, I work in facial, oral, and cosmetic surgery. So that's the day job.
That's the day job.
Yeah. Yeah. So we actually, our Rhode Island office reopened just over a week ago, and our Massachusetts office reopens tomorrow. So there's been a lot of stuff getting that already, getting all the PPE in place, all the signage, all the things that need to be done, plexiglass, and it's been quite a bit of work, but we're there.
That's cool.
Man, I'm telling you. So you're originally from Rhode Island.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and now
sir.
you're still in New England, Massachusetts, Rhode Island area.
Yeah.
So.
It's also small. I think it doesn't really count anyway.
No,
there's a ranch in Texas that's bigger than Rhode Island. So in other states, like, it's really sad.
It's kind of like driving through the town I live in. It's like, welcome to Rhode Island. And then as soon as you adjust your radio knobs, it's like, you are leaving Rhode Island. Thank you for visiting us.
We've put in a lot of tolls, though. That's the new thing. They put in all the trucker tolls everywhere. I'm like, this hardly seems fair. Like, it's you're here for like maybe 10, 15 minutes unless there's traffic, and you've had to pay for this experience. It's awful.
The truckers, man, they get nailed all the way around. Delivering the goods out there on the roads and slowing down, they have to go get told all the time. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And of course, that affects the price of all the goods we buy, too. So
yeah, for sure.
So you want to make things cheaper? Get rid of all the freaking tolls.
I know. You know what freaks me out? Just being a regular commuter, I just don't like all the cameras. I like it like the whole Big Brother thing is a bother for me now, you know? And it's just like there's cameras all over the toll things. Now they put them outside the schools. I get a warning for driving by one of the school zones, but like my response is the school is closed. The school's been closed for months. So, like, yeah, I'm doing the regular speed limit in a school zone, but there's no school, so it doesn't matter. But they haven't told the robots that yet because they're still just collecting the money, you know?
Oh, so actually New York's not that bad right now. They have the thing where they flash, then you got to reduce your speed down to 25.
Oh, okay.
And
that's nice.
Since the schools are closed, they don't flash, so...
Yeah.
So a little bit of a benefit. And usually no benefit to living in New York over living anywhere else, but a little bit of that. So I understand you were on Ghost Nation just recently.
Yeah, just this past week I was on Ghost Nation. Myself, my buddy Cody Ray Desmian, we were both on there, and it was a nice chance to reunite with some old friends, and went up and did a sports complex up in Warwick, New York. Spent a couple of days up there, and beautiful place, multi-buildings, and lots of layers of activity and stuff. It was really, really cool. So it was kind of, I never stop investigating. I usually just work locally. So it was nice to kind of get back out there and work with a lot of the old camera. Like actually one of the camera guys was somebody I worked with on Destination Truth, and so like you meet people over the years. It's nice to kind of come back and work with them again. So it was a nice opportunity.
That's cool. No one would really think about a sports complex being haunted or having paranormal activity, you know?
Right. Yeah. It's just it has a very mixed use background, between like a prison and a sobriety house and all kinds of crazy stuff went on there. But in the meantime, you can play soccer, so that's good.
Yeah, well, take a little break, play a little soccer game, go back and look for ghosts again. I mean, hey,
that's it.
Best
Very
of both worlds, man. So, following your plight for a number of years like I have, the most interesting thing I thought was when you went over to Ghost Hunters International. To me, that show was so cool because, you're investigating a lot of things in the United States and a lot of things you haven't heard of and some things you heard about. But you go overseas, man, that's like you're going like old school paranormal. You're talking about going even hundreds of years older.
Yeah.
And the stuff here. I mean, castles and all that kind of stuff. That's got to be pretty cool.
It was amazing. An amazing blessing by far. Ended up, I believe the final count was 27 countries I got to visit and numerous castles and old, hospitals and war zone areas and all these amazing things that I never thought I would have had the opportunity to go visit, or never mind, explore and investigate, but even just to visit as a tourist. So it's really, really remarkable for sure. And the layers of activity that you come across, and thinking about the different people that lived in some of these places, like the nobility that lived there and the different languages that they would speak, and trying to, make it in a way where you can communicate and hopefully get them to, be enticed by what you're trying to do. It really was something remarkable. It's honestly the hardest dang thing I had to do. And it was just the logistics of it all, and it wasn't that far, back. But I remember going to places, and the first thing you tried to do is see if you had internet in your room. And it was usually like dial up, and you were waiting forever just to send an email, So it was hard to communicate with family and everybody back home, just because the technology wasn't there.
God, I mean, I've been through Europe, and yes, it was the same for me. It was just like nothing would plug. I didn't have the right plugs, or TV stations were like really bad, or there was no internet. It's just, man, you don't realize how good you've got it in the United States until you like leave.
Until you're sharing a shared bathroom with Barry Fitzgerald, and you're washing your socks in the sink while he's using the toilet. That's when you're like, maybe I made some choices along the way that weren't correct,
Maybe my life choices haven't been the best here. You rethink that. When I did a 2-week tour of Europe, and so when I left, I had like a big suitcase, and I had a garment bag. I'm thinking, I need like at least 8 pairs of underwear, socks, the whole thing, because I don't know when I'm going to be able to do laundry. I figure at some point I'll hit a hotel that'll have a laundry service. So I show up with my boss. He's actually German. His name was Gunther. So he shows up. He's got like a little duffel bag. And I'm like, okay, Gunther, where's your suitcase? Oh, I don't take one. This is just it. I go, that's it? I mean, I'm talking like this is like a gym bag that I would take my exercise clothes in.
Right.
That's all he took for 2 weeks. And what he did every night is he washed his stuff in the sink and hung it in the shower, his socks, his underwear, and just kept reusing them over and over again. Yeah, and I was like, oh man,
that really was the way of it, man. We would be gone. We would be gone a minimum of 6 weeks, and a lot of times, you're out somewhere in Africa. There aren't any laundromat services, so you're washing your own stuff in your sink and just hanging it there. I remember blowing up the hair dryers or like the heating units in the bedroom, because I'd try to lay my stuff on there to dry it, because it was always like eternal winter. Every time they sent us somewhere, it was cold because it was cheap. So you're trying to dry your clothes so they don't freeze. The only time I get to hang it outside, I remember I was in Austria, and it was a ski resort area, but it was summer. So it was, again, off peak time. And I get to hang my stuff outside the window. And unfortunately, it was over a slaughterhouse for pigs. And everything just smelled like death. And it's like you come home at like 3 a.m. and you're trying to sleep. And like your laundry's out there hanging, drying in the morning sun, and you're trying to rest. And all you can hear is the squealing of pigs and animals. I'm like, what the hell is going on out here? I'm like, who books these places? There's not like a Motel 6. There was nothing we could find. But it was, it's a good experience, I guess.
Because on the show, you guys always look so composed. Like, we're ready to take on the paranormal.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their favorite threads on. Everything's looking good. But what you don't see is all the amount of time you've got to spend there going over and over again, because I was involved a little bit of production on another show. And even though the episode was 30 minutes, which I think is only like 20 something minutes, they actually have airtime, they were there for well over a week.
Oh yeah.
Every single night filming, looking for that specific piece of evidence.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes forever. Each case for us was usually 2 weeks out there. So like 2 weeks at a minimum per country, and you're filming one location for at least a week, and you had 1 day off, and you try to make the most of it. You want to go like, I remember one day it was like, well, it was a 3-hour train ride, from Venice. I'm like, well, I'm exhausted, but when am I going to be 3 hours from Venice again? So you get up and you take the train, you go explore and try to have some fun in that one day. But yeah, they worked us, man, like. We were there before the sunset to do the tour, get everything set up, and then you investigated every night until sunrise. And then that was actually one of the times that I realized it was time to come home. I said to Barry one morning we were driving back, I said, you know how many sunrises I've seen with you and how many I've seen with my wife? I was like, this is starting to get like weird now, you know? And it was time. It was time to come home after that. But it was a lot of work. Again, thankful for it. Amazing places, a great life experience, but it was grueling for sure.
It must be. And the thing about it is that for 6 weeks at a time, you go away from your family in places where sometimes you can't even get back in touch with them.
Yeah.
And you hang out with the same people for 6 straight weeks.
Yeah, I'm kind of a loner. I try to like go off by myself a lot. You know, if we weren't filming at night, I'd go just kind of wander and like explore places, which is probably dangerous. Like, don't do that. But that's because I just put my music on. I'm like, I just need to go out and do my thing, you know, and find my place. And it was cool, though, you know, and especially when you can't read the signs. Like, you're trying to remember, like, okay, I take a left at this crazy-looking building. Like, you're just trying to remember. It was like playing the original Zelda game and that map in the corner expanding everywhere you go, you know, and trying to remember how to get back. So we never got lost, though. I mean, you know, it was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah, you know, but, I mean, would you at this point, if you got offered a show to go out and be away from your family for that extended period of time, would you do that again?
You know, it was a tough call at the time because my daughter was just, you know, she was not even 1, she just turned 1. But the working in cosmetic surgery, my hours were reduced to like 20 hours a week. So financially, it made sense for me to go do the show. It was not just a great opportunity, but financially, it made it so my wife could stay home full time, take care of our baby. We didn't have to worry about bills. Like, you know, it was fine. Like, we weren't going to line the vaults with plenty of money to live for years to come, but it was a good way to get through at that time. Now the little one's just about to turn a teenager, so now having dad, right? It's having dad around isn't as important to her, I think. So it'd probably be easier for me now to go do something like that than it was when she was a baby, you know. But I hear good things. I hear that they come back around, you know, like they give them a good foundation and then you give them their space and then, you know, they come back around. So I look forward for that. But yeah, I think honestly, if the opportunity came up now, I think now I would probably be more willing to do it than I actually was at that time.
So how did you get back involved with Ghost Nation? How did that all come together?
It's like being with the damn mafia. Like, you're never really out, you know? Like, they all have your phone number. You see them constantly at events and everything. And we've all stayed friends. And, you know, I was even talking with Grant about maybe doing something for Ghost Hunters. I was talking with Jay about doing something for Ghost Nation. So it was kind of like, you know, whoever called first. And Jay gave me a call and wanted Cody and I to come up and be a part of it. And it was a great time, man. You know, it really was. And there's already been some talk about maybe doing something else down the road. You know, I'm still a free agent, so that works out pretty well. And kind of do whatever. But, yeah, we'll see what comes of it. People seem to like it. Honestly, I was very surprised and very thankful, like, what a good reaction like there was on social media when, like, being a part of a show again and being on TV again, you know. So that was really nice. I was very thankful to everybody for remembering who the hell I was and caring that I was back. So that was good.
No, that's got to be amazing. I mean, that's a great. So how much time do you spend? Do you actually go out and investigate? I mean, let's take the quarantine out of the situation here,
right.
But do you actually go out and do your own investigations and research on your own, or?
Yeah, locally, I usually just work with my buddy Cody. He lives nearby, and just the two of us will go and check out, you know, just home cases, things like that. Probably just do a couple a year, you know, don't do a terrible lot of them, but because I just have to balance it with the day job, with family time, with events, writing the books, all the other things. But, you know, I stay in touch and we work on new equipment and stuff together. Cody actually builds a lot of things. So, we talk about ideas, and we still do a lot of that. You know, not as much as active as I used to be, but still, you know, active as I can be.
Well, I know you're always so busy because every time I've reached out to you about doing an event, there'd be this pause in the communication. Then I'd be like, well, can they do these dates? I'm like, every time.
I know, man.
Always booked. You always got something going on, man. If it's not libraries or lecturing at schools or college universities or showing up at conferences.
I've been really lucky, man. I've been very blessed. A lot of good people out there that have brought me back year after year, you know. I think 2 years ago, I think we did 50 lectures in 1 year.
Wow.
You know, and that's just, it's a lot to balance. And we were off to a good start this year, but then everything, you know, kind of get derailed. But now I'm offering, you know, the Zoom conferences and presentations and things. And I've been working on some new books and stuff like that. But we'll get back out there, you know, and, you know, when all this passes, you know, we'll get back out and still get some things in the books for the fall. And my motivational stuff, I actually have a motivational lecture booked in July for a library. I don't know if I'll be there in person or if we're going to do it like this, but you know, I think now more than ever we could probably use a little bit of a boost, a little bit of uplifting message. So I'm happy to do so.
Yeah.
How are you seeing people react to the virtual thing? I mean, you seen people are like, yeah, I'd love to have you for a virtual lecture or virtual.
Yeah, it's you know, it's kind of evolving. You know, at first,
Right.
nobody wanted to do it because like, no, it's, you know, it'll be fine, which I was a big, you know, fan of. I'm like, yeah, let's get back to normal, you know, doing things. I like to be in front of a crowd. I like to feel the energy of the room, like pace around, talk to people, laugh, joke, hug. I like that kind of stuff, you know, but if this is the way we get to do it for, you know, for at least a little while, I think people are coming more around to it. And so, you know, we'll do whatever it takes, you know, and we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, no, I believe you. I mean, I've been doing a lot of virtual events with the business that I'm in,
Yeah.
and people are starting to become accepting of it. And as
Yeah.
we move forward towards the fall, people are asking me, you know, this may become a virtual event if we can't do it live. What are your
Right.
thoughts? And I'm like, yeah, well, we all got to eat. We all
Yeah.
got to do our thing. And as
This
long
would
as
be
you can-
good though, Rich, because now this year, when you contact me to book one of these things, even if I'm already booked that night, we'll just adjust the times a little bit. Like I could do a conference for a college in Wisconsin in a library here in New England in the same night. It's beautiful. And we're gonna make double the bank this year. That's what we're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
do.
You say that now, then I'll call you and be like, oh, man, can they do a different time? All right, then I'll go off and do my thing, and I'll come back. Yeah, they could do a different time. How about 9 o'clock? Oh, man.
Just book
They
that.
just came in. You think they could do 11?
I'll stay up all night telling stories, man. Plus, you can drink at home, too, because you don't have to drive anywhere, so the stories get better. You know, it's a lot more fun for everybody.
The shows get better after a couple drinks.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
I think so. I mean, I'm all for that. I mean, as you can see, I don't know if you can see it now, but I know Vicky and Chris in our show here, we're drinking a few. There's the bottle. And, of course, Kevin and Maeve have a bar right behind them, so
Right.
it goes to show you what they're into.
Yeah.
Peter's
Yeah, this
fixes...
quarantine's been terrible.
And I'm glad liquor stores are essential. So, I mean, you got to have booze. I don't care what anyone says. We're like, why are liquor stores essential? What's that?
I know. I had a bunch of my friends in Pennsylvania that they shut everything down. And like the day before St. Patrick's Day, they shut the liquor stores. I was like, that you're asking for people to riot at that point. That's just a bad idea.
Oh, there's going to be blood on the streets
Yeah,
in
that's
upstate
bad.
New York if you shut down the liquor
No.
stores.
I mean, you know, I always tell people, like, drink responsibly, but like if there's something that you enjoy, you know, you should be able to enjoy it too.
Absolutely. It's in your own house.
Yeah,
It's a big
not
deal.
hurting anybody. Yep.
Nah. You know, well, at least they didn't do it here in New York. They kept it essential, which is a good thing. So,
Yeah.
So right now, the paranormal climate, as we see it, all these new shows are out there now. I mean, it seems like Travel Channel, A&E, everybody's going paranormal TV, you know, with all the
Yeah.
different shows. I try to watch a few, but there's just so many of them,
Right.
you know? And so, like I was telling these guys earlier, my DVR is like packed full of different shows. I got to sit down one of these days and just watch them. But the way I figured, if you can watch it on the DVR, you go right through the commercials, man. And you
Oh,
can,
it's great.
you know, you can double, triple the amount that you
Yeah.
can watch in that 1 hour that you would have to if you had to
Right.
watch all the commercials. But so given all that, it was great to see Jason out there doing another show. It was good to see Grant out there doing another show.
Yeah.
I think Amy's got her own show, Amy and Adam.
Yeah.
have one also,
Yeah. Kindred Spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for Steve and Tango to break off and do their own thing, man.
Yeah, I don't
Their
know.
own
I know
show.
there was some talk of it, but then, you know, they are involved with Jay, so they kind of stay together. You know, they're like their own little holy trinity of the paranormal. So they they do their thing, you know. But yeah, and this is what I tell people. It's like, listen, you don't have to like all the shows, but I think there's enough room at the table for everybody to find something that they enjoy,
Right.
and just watch that. Like, you don't have to spend your time, like, I never understood people spend their time on social media just hating on something. Just talk about the things you like and then just move on from there, But there's enough room for different ideas. I think as long as people are being respectful in whatever, way they go about their research, that's the only thing that really matters to me, and they're not being harmful to anybody or any creatures or anything while they're doing it. There's plenty of room for it, and there's a lot of different things for people to look at and everything. I had a couple of pitches. I got to go to New York, and I felt like a big fancy boy, and I went to travel, and I sat down and watched the video, and like everyone was excited, and they're like, well, it's not scary enough. I was like, well, I don't want it to be scary. Like, my ideas are a little bit different from, a lot of the, cookie cutter stuff that may be out there. Not that all of it is, but a lot of it is kind of the same format. My degree before working in healthcare was in video production, television production. So I worked for CBS and Fox for years. So I look at a lot of these things, I'm like, it's very formulaic, and to some point it almost has to be with what we do. But I came up with some new ideas and things I wanted to try, and everyone's all for it until it's like, well, it's not scary. But do we all have to die at some point, right? And at some point this all ends one way or another.
Not me. I'm living forever, man.
Except for you. But the rest of us, like, do you want to believe that, after grandma passes away, after your friends, after you pass away, that it's like this horrible gloom and doom place where, like, there's a monster around every corner and a demon under every bed? Like, come on. Like, let's stop some of the BS and, like, let's show that there's a lighter side to this whole thing too, and you can still have your scary moments. You're looking into a place, you don't know what you're going to find. There's moments you're taken off guard, but everybody just wants, demon. And I'm like, I just don't play that card, and that's just not my game. So.
Yeah, well, it's kind of our thought exactly. You can see Chris going like this. Yeah, so many of these the shows that I've watched have always referred to a demon. It's demonic. If it's questionable, it's always demonic. And it drives me crazy because, I've investigated for a long time. If I come across things that are negative, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I never assumed it was anything demonic. But we get so many calls as a paranormal investigators group. People are like, I have a demon in my house. Why do you have a demon? Well, I heard scratching in the walls. And according to Ghost Adventures, that's something that's demonic. It's like, I know Ghost Adventures didn't say that, but that's the kind of way people are absorbing this. It's like, every time they have an experience, it's demonic, they're becoming possessed, and it just gets to the point where it drives you crazy. And it's like, as an investigator, you kind of question, should I even go help these people? Because, if they're talking...
They might not believe you anyway.
Right, exactly. And we've had people get mad at us because we came out to help them, couldn't find the things that they wanted us to find.
Right.
And so they got upset with us. And they would get another group. And that group would come in and not find the things that they wanted. And I think they went through 3 or 4 groups. And I think they even threatened to sue one of the groups. We can't make stuff happen. We could if we were unethical, but we don't. Right. So, if you're having an experience sometimes, we can't prove it. Not saying it's not there. But, you want to go through all the paranormal groups in the county, go ahead. But sometimes it's hard to produce.
Every time we're getting a case now, it's like we really have to figure in at least 3 hours of trying to convince somebody that there's no demon.
Yeah.
It's the demon. It's the non-demon clause as part of our investigation. But the thing, there could be that case. There could be that incident when it happens.
Yeah, for sure.
And if it does, we reach out to John Zaffis, throw it out to him.
Get the old man going.
Let the old man go at it.
Yep.
And usually it's usually a phone call I get, run for your life. So you stay away from it. So, but yeah. So since we're on the topic of demonic and things like that, of all the cases you've done, have you ever come across anything that's been extremely negative?
Of all the places I've been, there's one person that I dealt with. It was an off-camera, non-televised case, who seemed to have something seriously going on, but it was related to him in his own life. It wasn't related to the home or any of those kind of things. So it was something that I really just handed off to a priest who I was a friend with. It's just like, because that was the appropriate thing for me. Sitting there doing EVP sessions on end is not going to get what this gentleman needed, you know. But all the other ones I've come across, you know, I've like you said, maybe you get, you know, negative intelligent spirits that maybe people are just kind of cantankerous in life, and their personality is still kind of like that afterwards. Or maybe they're tired of people coming in there with flashing lights saying, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Like, I'd be pissed too. Like, leave me alone, you know? I always just tell people, I think the best way to investigate for me, like, I don't care about bringing in a ton of equipment. I don't even record a ton of stuff for myself. You know, it was just to try to show the homeowner or for the show or whatever you're going to do. But for me, I just like to sit and be a part of it. I want to just witness it for myself to see what's there. And I find by just having conversation and playing music and talking to my buddies and like telling jokes, you create this warm environment where somebody who is an outsider may want to become a part of, you know, just like you would with anybody else. You don't want to work them over under the lights asking all these questions on end, you know, let them become a part of it. And then if you get a reaction, follow up with a question or something. But I think a lot of it, and, you know, you can't blame people. We all kind of are through osmosis, you know, based on what we've seen and what we've learned, we kind of go forward in those ways. And I think that, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that just, you know, kind of regurgitate and repeat what they've seen done on television. And through no fault of their own, they've done no other research. They've tried no other ways. So they just keep doing the same thing. And they associate scratching in the wall must mean there's a demon, not like there's a squirrel in the wall or something.
No, of course not.
Probably much more likely. So, you know, it's not anybody's fault. Everyone's just trying to figure things out.
Well, if they don't really understand the paranormal and they're having an experience, they're going to watch TV and they're going to come up with some of their own ideas. You know, oh, I saw this on this episode, so this is probably what it is. So, like you said, you can't really blame them for that.
Right.
But the problem is at the time, everyone was sold on the fact that it was a demon. Every time something happened, it was a demon. And they used a Ouija board 35 years ago, you know, or saw it on TV, and they figure, you know, oh my God, it's, you know, it's come back to get me. So.
And then it gets worse in the fall. Like once September, October comes around, and everyone's watching horror movies. It's like all of a sudden the emails like blow up with all these cases. It's like slow your roll, you know. I don't know.
We're on the same page with all this. This is like we talk about this stuff all the time.
But my little litmus test for if someone really needs help or not is I always ask them, do me a favor, keep me a journal for 3 weeks. Every time something happens, write down where you were, who was there, what time it was, and what happened. Nobody's going to keep a 3-week journal if it's just they saw something on TV and they spooked themselves, you know, or they want something to happen. So it's like you give them homework. It's like, here, do this first, and then we'll see, you know.
Love homework. Pete, did you have something to say before? I kept your hand was going up like.
I'm Italian. The boy's moving. I don't.
Just waving. So our friend Peter here, it's on our show. He was actually on Haunted Collector.
Oh, okay, nice, yeah.
So he had about 32 seconds, Pete, on the show.
37.
30.
That's fine. No, that's fine. As long as you get 30 seconds, now you can get a banner and you can go to any paranormal conference in the country. Just like everybody else does. That's fine. Go to the store, buy a doll, paint it black or white face, put it on your table. You were on this show for 30 seconds. This is your haunted doll. And then just take up table space. People love that. It's the whole new thing.
I didn't think of that part.
Yeah, no, you're good to go. You're verified, man. 37 seconds, hell.
I already have the shots, but I mean.
It's a
That's it. Get it out there, man. And listen, like me being on a show, honestly, like, I mean, you know me well enough, Rich. Like I joke around a lot, but like me being on a show for 10 years or whatever, like as far as credibility, yes, maybe more people know me for that. It doesn't make me a better investigator than someone you've never seen on television before.
Sure.
But what bothers me now is like, they'll call me to like, you know, like, hey, we want you to come to this conference, this, that, and the other. I'm like, okay, like, here's my rates, blah, blah. Oh, no, we don't pay anybody. We have this person, this person, this person, this person. I'm like, okay, great. And they've all been on the show for maybe a combined 10 minutes. So they're happy to come and sit for free at the table for 3 days, you know? Like for me, it's still part of the business, like, and that's just the part of it. And it's just the honest part of it, Again, it doesn't make me a better investigator or any of that. I think, when it comes to doing lectures and research and that, like, I've put my time in there for sure. But I think it's become so, everyone's just become so inundated with everybody who's ever had a talking head segment on the Paranormal show. And now everybody gets a table and everybody has a haunted item. It's just a dime a dozen stuff now, It's just kind of sad. And you go to John Zaffis's place and you see real deal haunted stuff just hiding out in like his creepy garage area. And you're like, wow, okay, I can see the difference now. Like, this isn't a Bratz doll that somebody spray painted. This is like a melting Virgin Mary. Like, what the hell? And John's like, oh yeah, it's fine, Duster. I'm like, he's so creepy, that guy.
I gotta tell you what I did to him. So I was in Connecticut at a conference, and John's like, "Oh, Richie, you gotta come up and see my house, see the museum and everything, the barn," he calls it, right? Mm-hmm. The barn. It's not a barn at all. No. So I'm like, all right. So it's like a 20-minute drive, he says. So it took me much longer than 20 minutes with the Connecticut traffic. So I drive out there. I get there, I walk into this place, and it is like a full-on museum. I mean, like, everything's in there. Satanic robes and, the Phantom of the Opera's mummified. He's over in the corner. I mean, and you walk through the place, and it's totally, like, peaceful there. So I'm thinking, I got to screw with John because, John is gullible at times. So he goes, come here, let me show you my office. And I remember him telling me he's got like crucifixes hanging up in there and stuff. So I get to the threshold of the door to go in his office. I stop. I look around. I'm like, he said, what's the matter, Richie? I'm like, I don't think I want to go in here. Mm-hmm. And why is that, Richie? I don't know. I'm going to stand out here. Mm-hmm. So, Richie, why can't you come in here, Richie? I'm like, I don't know. I feel very uncomfortable in this office. Uh-huh. And he's making notes, right? And I'm like, so I was with Tim, and Tim's like, all right, stop it. You're freaking him out. Right. I walked into the room. He goes, oh, Richie, I thought you were into some shit or something because he had I thought you knew that I had the crucifixes on there and you couldn't come in because the demons were keeping you out. Right. Like, I mean, the look that guy gave me. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know that look. And Rich, the first time I went to his house, I drive up there. It's, like a nice neighborhood and everything, like typical, like Americana kind of thing. And I pull up, and I will never forget, there was this young, like, neighbor girl, and she's, like, outside washing her car and everything. And next driveway over, there's Zaffis, and he's got a hose, and he's washing something. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? And I get out, and he's got all these artifacts in the hallway, in the driveway, and he's spraying them down. I'm like, John, what is this? He's like, oh, Duster, I just got all these things. This guy was a real practitioner. This robe he had buried in his yard, and these boxes of things are sealed with silver nails. And I'm thinking, and the neighbor girl has no problem with all this going on. Like, it's just like a normal Sunday afternoon at the Zaffis house,
I could see him out there with a pair of cut-off shorts and a tank top.
Oh, dear Lord.
Posting his stuff off.
Yeah.
I remember when Haunted Collector went on the air, I called him one time. I said, did you move? He's like, what do you mean did I move? Yeah. Oh, the show, it shows these big gates and like you got some big estate someplace. You live in a cul-de-sac.
Right. Yep.
Imagine your house, man. And it's like a regular suburban neighborhood. It's like, what, did you put gates in or something? He's like, no.
Some nice B-roll. That show, for some reason, freaked my mom out. My mom, like, I don't like you hanging around with that guy. I'm like, no, he's completely fine. I'm like, the show just makes him look creepier than he is.
I had some good laughs with him. Yeah, I mean, I always would mess with him. Like, anytime there's some religious object around or something, I'd be like, John, I don't feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. Yep. He used to always tell Tim, my associate Tim at the time, when we were working together, he's like, I think Richie's into something. I think he's into stuff. And then he would tell me, I think Tim's into stuff. He's like playing us against each other. Right. That's all he had to do to get a rise out of him.
Yeah. We, a couple of years back, we had a gig at Waverly. Love Waverly. and there was a storm pattern moving through, and everything was like, whoever the other talent that was supposed to be on there, nobody could make it. Everybody had canceled. Their flights were not going to make it till like the next day. There's no way they're going to make it. And I just got out of work. I'm at the airport in Providence, well, Warwick, technically. And I called the old man and said, Johnny, I'm going to get a rental car. You want me to pick you up? Oh, yeah, Duster, I'll get my things. I'm like, all right. So I called the promoter. I'm like, listen, Johnny and I will be there no matter what. And the way John tells the story now, it's like we're on the Oregon Trail. It's like a 5-day journey. But it was like, I drove for 17 hours straight. And I remember getting down through West Virginia, and the snow was coming down so heavy. Like, I couldn't see anything. And I've got my Elvis music, like, blasting. And Zaphis is passed out in the passenger seat, laying there sleeping. And, like, I keep hitting ice and sliding, and I'm like, if I crash and kill Zaphis, like, people are gonna hate me forever. It's like paranormal royalty. It's like I have the queen riding with me over here. Then he'd like wake up at gas stations randomly and then just go right back to sleep. God bless him. But we had quite the journey, the old man and I.
Oh God, I mean, meeting him changed my life, and that's how I met all you guys. I mean, through him. So. Yeah. You know, meeting him, like I said, changed my life. He's a great guy, and he's such a ball breaker. That's when people, you know, you see him on there, he's talking about the haunted objects and demons. Then you meet him in real life, and oh my God, I see a ball breaker.
Right? It was just so crazy. I remember I was in Michigan one time, first time I met Chip Coffey, and I'm standing outside a casino with John Zaffis and Chip Coffey, and they're like, I always have like this Mr. Rogers persona of both of them, and they're like two dirty old men telling jokes. It was like George Carlin. I'm like, what is going on? Like with these two guys, you know? It's so crazy. But
yeah, I can't even tell my first story of meeting Zaffis. So.
Oh, he's an interesting guy. I think everyone in the paranormal, I can safely say this. I think everyone in the paranormal has a Zaffis story. If you've
about right.
gone up to the ranks and you've hung out with the paracelebs, as we call them, then you have a John Zaffis story.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll tell you, and he's so sweet too. Like last year, I was doing a gig at a library down there where he lives, down in Connecticut. And he showed up to sit and watch it quietly in the back, you know, and I was just like, came up to me afterwards and said I did a nice job. And like, it just really meant a lot to me because I learned a lot from him, you know. The first time I ever met him was at the Conjuring House, and like working with him on that case, I was like, you know, this was years and years ago. We were like, you know, the first like handful of people to ever investigate that. And he's always been very kind to me, and he's always been there to help guide me along the way too. So it's I don't know when this turned into the Let's Love John Zaffis hour, but it's really been fantastic.
We got a bromance with Zaffis.
Yeah, for sure. God bless him. He's getting old though. We have to keep reminding him of things, you know. Like he's like our Betty White at this point. He's like the Betty White of the paranormal. It's like this is who we got now, you know.
Will the sweaters outlive him? That's the question.
What's that?
Will the sweaters outlive him?
Oh, those things are forever. Yeah, that's made out of forever yarn, I think.
The John Zaffis sweater collection coming to JCPenney's fall 2020.
Is that what bankrupted him?
I hope he's not listening. Oh, I'll get you guys. I'll get you good, Duster. He'll get you. So, question for you. This is a deep, deep paranormal question. All right, I want you to think about this, okay?
Okay.
So take a deep breath. Do you prefer pie or cake?
I am a pie guy 100% of the time. I will still eat a cake because I'm not a snob, but yeah, I love pumpkin pie is my favorite. Like I made one just last week, and then I realized that the quarantine perhaps has made things different for me in the terms of portion control. Even though I'm the essential worker and so how to go to work every day, like there's like this natural like gathering and hoarding instinct that goes on for me with food. And I cut the pie basically just into like 4 pieces. I'm like, this is it. I had 1 piece every day. It was delicious.
I remember years ago, I got a gig for you. It was a Western New England college. And I remember the activity staff called me, said, Rich, it's like, what can we do to make Dustin feel at home? We really want to impress him, and we really want to make him feel good. I said, well, he likes pie. Really?
Yeah.
So afterwards, I guess they brought in a bunch of pies. I mean, I wasn't there. But I remember getting a call after your lecture in Ghost Hunt that they called me back and said, Dustin was the best. We gave him pie. He sat down. He was cutting up slices of pie, giving it to everybody at the event, serving them pie. And I'm like, that's got to be a first. I've never had a
well, they had
client
an
of mine
abundance.
put an apron on and cut up pie and serve
They
it.
had an abundance of stuff. They had an amazing little after party and everything. I remember that one. That was really nice. They had I remember bowls of punch with dry ice, so it looked like all smoky and spooky and everything. You know, it was really cool. But yeah, people are always so nice. They go out of their way to I'm just some I'm just some blue collar chooch that works all the time. I travel around. I'm lucky enough to have been on some TV shows. I'm just interested in things that have interested me since I was a kid, and I've been very blessed to have done so much with it. And people always go out of their way, I think, to really, you hear horror stories all the time, but I'd say it's less than 1% of all the interactions, So I always choose to look at the positives anyway.
Well, that's a good thing. So go ahead, Peter.
I do have a question from someone online, if that's okay.
Yeah,
sure. You want me to hold it?
No, go.
Well, first they asked me what flavor ice cream. I'm going to keep that a mystery. But this is Emmy. What location was the most uncomfortable for Dustin to investigate?
The most uncomfortable. It's a very particular phrasing of that question. I've had places I don't like long hallways with a lot of open doors and stuff. So I don't like prisons and things like that. Just because I don't like horror movies. Paranormal horror movies, okay, but slasher films, I don't like the haunted houses, attractions. I don't like pop out scary stuff. So any of those things makes me very uncomfortable. But one thing that sticks out for some reason when this question was read. The term uncomfortable reminded me of being in, I want to say we're in France, and they bring me into a room on the tour, and they've been building it up. We've got something very special for you. You're really going to like it. I'm like, great. And they bring me in the room, and there's a coffin with a glass top that had the remains of a saint in there. And I looked at them, and I'm like, what is this? And oh, this is Saint so-and-so, she was here, and and you can investigate here. And I was like, from a Christian standpoint, I just felt it was very sacrilegious. It's I don't want to do that at all. And I remember just feeling uncomfortable, that for some reason people that I traveled the world with for 2 years thought this is something that he's going to love to do. I was like, this is the worst idea ever, I think I was in the room at one time when Joe Chin did an EVP question or something, but I didn't want to take part in it or be a part of it. But so yeah, that was the most uncomfortable thing, just because it just didn't sit right with me, in a spiritual way.
I think we all have our things that we like to stay away from. You know what I mean? We all have that.
Yeah.
So,
and the opposite end of that, what would be your favorite place you've had a chance to go investigate?
My favorite place, I've had a couple for different reasons. Lep Castle means a lot to me in Ireland, and that's the one where I get knocked down to the ground. And it seems like that wouldn't be a favorite thing, but it was, because it taught me a lot about my approach and how important it was for me to be more respectful going forward, And the Clark Air Force Base in the Philippines, that's the only place I've ever been where they give you the list of claims, and everything that was on that list, we witnessed within the couple of nights we were there. And that has never happened to me in all the years of all the places I've been. And so that place was very special. And it also meant a lot to the client. He was once a very proud gentleman who was a security officer there. And people made fun of him because of the things that he said that he had seen and witnessed. And he became kind of a laughing stock. And when we were able to play him video and play him audio and prove to him that he wasn't wrong, he just broke down crying, and it felt nice to bring him that sense of peace, that sense of justice.
That's cool.
That's a very nice story. Sort of cool.
Is there any place that you've never been that you've always wanted to?
Yeah, there was a couple of places. The one that, we tried to get into Egypt a couple of times, but there was always a lot of political unrest, so we didn't get to go there. And but I had always pitched the Greek Isles, and I wanted to go to some of the caves out in the Greek Isles, and I thought it'd be great, with polytheism and everything, some biblical stories that tie back to that area. I was like, this would be kind of cool place to be. And the network didn't like it because they said, and it makes sense, just like when we were in the catacombs in France, if you're in a cave in the dark, it all looks the same. Yeah. There's nothing visually exciting for the viewer. You're not in a grand ballroom. You're not in a castle. Like, you're somewhere in a cave, But for me personally, it was something that I really wanted to do. And I really would like to, now they'd probably book me because of the coronavirus, but I never get to do any of these paranormal cruises. Like everyone, Chip gets to go to Bermuda, or they all get to go to Hawaii. Somehow I'm not on that list, there were two lists, Charlie Brown, one to invite, one not to invite. But I never seem to get on those damn cruises, but that'll be okay.
Paranormal cruise to Hawaii. That sounds like a very good time.
Yeah, right? Now, no, but every other time, yes. Amy Bruni always runs one, and then what does she book me for? She books me for her event in New Hampshire in November. I'm like, hey, thanks. Let me freeze some more. Why can't I be warm and happy? That's all right.
It's sometime how it happens,
Yeah, I'm happy to do whatever. I have fun no matter what I do, man. I entertain myself mostly anyway. I'm running my own paranormal cruise this year. It's already sold out. It's going to be in Narragansett Bay in Rhode Island. It's just me, my buddy Cody, and my buddy Ty. And we have bologna sandwiches and beer. And that's it.
I would buy a ticket to that.
I'm sorry, it's sold out.
Bologna sandwiches, man.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. My favorite.
Sitting in the sun all day, nice warm bologna sandwich.
No pie?
No.
Especially American cheese. They kind of get that nice warm melted thing.
Fresh off the grill kind of feel to it. Yeah.
That's good stuff, man. Good. Hey, let's talk about you being the author, Dustin Pari, the author here.
Sure.
You got a book called The Complete Approach, the Scientific and Metaphysical Guide to the Paranormal that you co-author with Barry Fitzgerald.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about that book.
So that was our first book, and we had put that together because we wanted people, despite the show, that we were a part of at the time, always being scientific.
Right.
They never wanted us to work with mediums or talk about metaphysics and things like that. And I'm a very spiritual person, and Barry, taught me a lot in terms of guided meditation and everything. And we wanted to try to show people, write down some of our ideas about technology and different things that we wanted to use, but also showing that being combined, with metaphysical ideas and working together, with mediums and psychics that maybe can, if you don't want to just trust what they're telling you, that's okay. But if they can maybe give you some hints about who might be here, talking points that you could use to maybe draw them out to come closer, the best place to point your equipment to try to talk to somebody, why not do that?
Right.
And at the time, unfortunately, when the book was released, it was our first time putting a book out. The author, a gentleman from New York, the publisher rather, he put out our unapproved, we saw notes in there and stuff. It was not our final copy. And then he disappeared with the money and the rights to it. And it just that was it. Next thing we know, we get a letter from a lawyer saying the guy's bankrupt. Good luck. And so I kind of went my own path, and we did our own thing for a while. And I've written a lot of, other books since then. But just this last 2-3 days ago, I have a new version of it. So it's the second edition of The Complete Approach. And that's on Amazon. There's a Kindle version for the first time ever. And so those are out there now for people to get. And I think there's, even though it was written some years ago, I still think there's a lot of good information in there that holds up.
Yeah, just from what I've looked through on this book, it looks interesting enough because that's kind of how Agent Paranormal was formed. We were in many of the members were in a very scientific-based paranormal group where it was a science application or nothing else. Yeah. And we felt the need as investigators to investigate something that truly we don't understand. I don't know if truly is a science or not, a pseudoscience, if you will, that the metaphysical end of it holds some value. We wanted to explore that. We wanted to correlate the scientific stuff with the metaphysical to see how much of it was valid or who was valid. And I think that's really expanded kind of, we used to go in with very, EMF stuff and pretty much K2s and whatever, and then we advanced into spirit boxes and ovuluses and then into mediums and all that kind of stuff. So it's been an interesting thing. But, yeah, we totally believe in the two, tying them together to see how they interact with each other.
It's a spiritual field, and I think if you take the spirituality portion of it out, you're doing a great discredit to it, So I think that on some level, you need to have that combination. Like I said, for me now, like I don't care to use a ton of equipment because I just want to have the experience. I just want to witness it and be a part of it, and like feeling that close to the other side to me is more important than getting even a Class A EVP that's still scratchy that I'm going to play for somebody and they're never going to believe anyway. I don't need to prove it to anybody else. I just want to be there and have that experience for myself.
Yeah, I agree with you. I used to take a big case of equipment with me when I went on investigation. I mean, I was on Ghost Hunter's store and everything else, buying this, buying that.
Yeah.
And then it came to the point now where I take just a couple things with me.
Yeah.
A flashlight, a spirit box, audio recorder, and maybe a K2 or something, to be quite honest with you. Yeah. I guess I've just learned all the other stuff is just more stuff I've got to log around with me and, that does or doesn't work or add any value to what I'm doing.
And a lot of it became like, remember the Wuzzles from the 80s? Where they just started combining like two animals to make a different stuffed animal. It was like part hippopotamus and part elephant. Like it's like, here's a K2 meter that, also tells time and has a compass in the stock. Like, who the hell cares? Like why are we just adding stuff together at this point? It just seemed dumb. So I just keep it simple and enjoy yourself and be respectful and just have some fun with the damn thing. Like so many people are so like just stoic and just brooding and miserable, and it's just like, I hate this person on my team. I hate doing. Then don't just stay home or go do something else. Learn to paint, color. I don't care. Like, don't do shit that makes you unhappy. Life is short. Have some fun. Or
I agree with you.
Just leave me alone.
I agree.
I'm getting old. I'm getting like Zaphis. See what's happening?
Oh. You still got the hair though.
That's right.
All the hair.
We still, you imagine seeing pictures of Johnny with like a full head of hair? I've never seen one. I'd like to.
There is a picture that I saw, and I've been trying to find this. It's a picture of Zaphis, and I think it's from the 60s. I don't know, but he's got like Jesus Christ length hair.
Wow. Like wavy gravy stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's got like a cut off T-shirt. Like cut off. Where you can see it's
like showing midriff?
Yes, what? Midriff.
Wow.
With like denim cutoffs on.
You didn't imagine this, right? This is really
No, I'm telling you, I saw this picture. I mean,
I have a feeling if anybody would know, Andrea Perrin would know. Andrea Perrin was around him around that time.
We need to find out because I saw that picture and I absolutely almost hit the floor laughing.
This is a quest now. This is a paranormal quest. Yep. All right. See a picture of John Zavis's navel. Back in the 60s, not nobody wants to see it now.
His hairy navel. Yes.
Yeah, it's like a gray forest now with like a black hole in it, like in the 60s.
So, I do look for that stuff. I remember when I was with Chris Moon, I was visiting Chris Moon in Colorado, and I went to his mom's house, Paulette, and she was giving me a tour of the house and wanted to take me down to see the Frank's boxes that they had.
Oh, yeah.
And she's, by the way, this is Chris's bedroom. And right there on Chris Moon's table was a senior picture. So immediately the iPhone came out. I'm taking pictures, There's a senior prom picture. Right. There's a picture of him as a dorky kid with his first guitar. Oh, yeah, I've got those on my phone.
That's awesome. That's great.
That's the power of technology, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
When I find that picture, You'll be the first person.
I can't wait. I want to see it.
I think we should just have an episode and bring all the celebs back on, and then we show the picture.
So I'll be performing the exorcism on you, Rich, after he sends you a demon.
He could do it too, man. If he wanted to become an evil bad guy, we'd all be in trouble, man. All of us.
I thought I was dead one night. I'm with him. It was Rich. It was the gig you booked me in Syracuse, and we're going up to like the college venue or whatever, and we get out of his rental car, and all of a sudden I see these 3 big dudes walking toward us, and I'm like 6 feet tall, like maybe 6'1" if my hair's looking good, but these are big dudes and like cut off like shorts and like fatigues and heavy set, and I'm like, oh man, like what is going on? And as they get closer, I'm like, they're walking toward us, and we're by ourselves in a parking lot. Like, what? I've got Zaphis. Like, I grew up in the ghetto. I'm a little scrappy. Like, maybe I can like take one guy, but 3 guys and Zaphis, I'm screwed. All of a sudden, they look over, they're like, Johnny, and he's like, hey, how are you? And like, he knows them, and they give him a Ouija board in a box that's sealed, again, blessed with the silver nails and everything. It was used in a ritual, and they tell him the whole story. And like, I'm relieved now because like these guys are friendly. They're scary but friendly. And what does John do? He takes this Ouija board in a box, and he puts it on top of my luggage and all my personal things in the rental. Like, couldn't you put that anywhere else, John? Like, just in case some of the evil is oozing out through the grain, like put it in some other part of the car. Bless him. Knows everybody though.
I thought you were going to tell me the guys just started like do a flash mob or something, started dancing and stuff.
It's also possible.
I was waiting for that.
There was a Zappos Harlem Shake video, and the Harlem Shake was a thing. I remember that.
Oh.
That was from MI Paracon. That's something else worth looking up. Just make a shame reel for Zappos.
These Paracons, you know, everybody thinks they're all serious, but there's a lot of...
Oh, there's a lot of nonsense.
There's a lot of crap.
The best part's after, like just hanging out and watching, you know, because I like I said, I like to have a drink or two, but like, you know, especially when, you know, clients are around or
sure.
guests, like you're responsible, you know, so I'll just stand back, have a beer with the promoter, but I like to linger and watch and see what happens, because the stuff that happens is who's dancing on stage, who's making out with who. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing to just watch it all unfold. I remember one of my favorite times, I was on the road. I was down in Texas at the Manger Hotel, and I'm there with Jeff Belanger. And Belanger and I are standing there at the bar drinking, and who walks up but Chris Lutz from Amityville. And, like, Belanger looks at me, he's like, did you ever think we'd be hanging out at the Manger Hotel drinking beers with the Amityville kid? It's like, no, this is amazing. Like, what the hell's going on with my life? But it's fantastic.
Yeah,
Also,
you know.
there's also a nice ice cream shop across from the Alamo for our friend who was eating ice cream. If you ever get a chance to go down there, it's good stuff right across the street.
Apparently, I died there in a previous life, so that would work out then, I guess.
See? That's it. That's why you love ice cream so much.
Maybe I should eat the ice cream there.
So, Dustin, do you have any advice for anyone's getting into the paranormal? Anyone who wants to become an investigator, that kind of wants to, get into this day and age?
Yeah, I think it's just important to make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, you know, and get out of it if you're not enjoying it. Do your research. There's some great books and things out there. Some stuff from guys like Hans Holzer and Orbach and Zaphis. Rosemary's got some great things. You know, do some reading. Don't let reality TV be your guide. You know, read some stuff. Do some research. You know, I feel like we live in a society now where we want to get all of our information, like not even Wikipedia, but like we want it in like meme form. Like just that's how we learn. You know, we can't be bothered to read the whole article. We just want to see like the headline and the picture, and then we will formulate our opinion based on that. If you're going to get into anything in life, do your research, do your time, you know, and a lot of that is reading and researching And when I started, when I was a kid, there, we didn't have paranormal reality television. Like I had to go to the library, get out the microfiche. Good times, I don't know what the hell microfiche is anymore. But we were out there with the card catalog and finding the things and looking up old articles. Like that was good stuff. So put in your time, do your research, but have fun with it. And if you're not having fun with it, then it's not for you, and just find something else that brings you joy.
So
go ahead, Chris.
Oh, sorry. A lot of people usually, when they go out to different investigations, perform their own little rituals for protection and whatnot. Is that something you do, or is?
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think everybody. I always say my idea about religion and such is that God is like Hallmark cards. Okay, so you've got like shoebox for like people that like to laugh, and you've got mahogany for people of different skin tones and ethnic backgrounds, and you've got just how I feel for people that like to cry, and then the blank inside cards for people that are just empty inside. But no matter which one you believe in, no matter which card you buy, you're still buying Hallmark, So Christianity, Judaism, Taoism, whatever faith you're a part of, I believe that all the main core religions practice positivity and love and respect, and it's all part of the same corporate umbrella that God's got going on. We've got different prophets speaking different tongues of different lands, people of different colors, but the core message is what's important. And if you go out and you do an investigation and you like to say a prayer beforehand, you like to bring crystals, whatever it is that brings you that sense of peace and joy and protection, I say all for it. I have a little medal in my truck. Every day before, I've had it since my first vehicle. It hangs on my dashboard, and before I drive anywhere, I always cross myself and touch it. And that's going to work in the morning, coming home from work, going to get donuts. I've been doing it since I've been driving, Now, if that medal gets lost, do I feel like all of a sudden I'm not protected? No, but that's my symbolic gesture that brings me peace. And so if people have that for their investigations, that's fine. You don't need to force the other team members to do it. You don't need to make the homeowner do it. Do your own thing,
So what do you do, Chris?
Well, I'm still kind of new at this, so I'm kind of formulating my own and kind of getting into it at the moment. So
there's one thing, if I could share with you, that's very effective, actually, if you're just starting to get started with this. You download yourself a picture of John Zaffis. You strip yourself naked, turn counterclockwise 3 times, and then kiss it. Then you'll be fine.
Kiss his belly button.
Yeah, kiss. That's right. He's like a Buddha. God bless him. Somebody's going to try to kiss John Zaffis' belly button. He's not going to know what the hell's going on.
The next Paracon.
That's right.
I'm looking for you. Dustin!
Where's your midriff shirt, Johnny?
As a 32nd alumnus of Haunted Collector, I feel like I should stick up for something.
That's great.
We all love John. John's the glue that holds all of us together, man.
I really do believe so. God bless him.
He's a character, and I don't think I'd want him any other way, to be honest with you.
No, not at all.
However, it is kind of somber to know that Rosemary and Mary Ellen Guiley passed. That was
it was tough.
I was talking to her just a few months beforehand.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden she was gone.
Yeah, that was it was last year. She had passed away. Stanton Friedman passed away. Yeah. A lot of these people that I've traveled the road with over the years, and I joke around when I say Zaffis is like our Betty White, but he is kind of like the last original, God forbid something happens to him. Who do we got? We got, Grant, Jay, and Baggins. And, I love them all, but they're not Zaffis and Rosemary,
Zaffis is a walking encyclopedia.
Yeah.
The thing I really appreciate about John is the fact that he knows so much, but he only tells you very little.
He's like dealing with Dumbledore. He's like Dumbledore from Harry Potter. He could help you out like this, but he makes you work for it, He makes you just go through all the pangs of it, and then he's like, "Oh, see, I told you." No, you didn't tell me. You just told me that.
Oh, Johnny. He's the best, man. He's the one who really got me into the paranormal and kind of gave me some tips and kind of pointed me in the right direction. And so he was very, very important in my journey to the paranormal. I mean, he was pretty much the launching pad for that. So, you know, I try to get in touch with him every once in a while, but he's always such a busy guy. You know, you call him and, you know, he'll get back to you. He's always like in the middle of something. So
you know,
I don't know what's going on.
You know what's fun? When you call the home number, he says that answering machine. Where you press like 1 for the kids, 2 for the wife, 3 for Johnny. It's still like an analog tape machine. Like, he probably gets EVPs on there. That's probably why he has it.
Oh, God. You know, and the whole thing with the paranormal celebrities is that I was amazed that everybody knows everybody. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, through conventions, pretty much that's usually the springboard where everybody meets everybody through the conventions. Right. But everybody knows everybody. And, I mean, there's a time that there's a lot of people hating on each other. I mean, there was a period where it's like, if you're talking to that one, I don't want to talk to you. If you're working with that one, I don't want to work with you. It seems that level of resistance and it seems to be gone. I don't see that as much. People they're more relaxed now. Maybe it was just because there's so many people all jonesing for the same amount of popularity.
It's like Game of Thrones, basically.
Yeah, perfect analogy.
Everybody wanted that one top spot, you know, and now there's so many that it doesn't matter really, you know. So I've always been like Teflon, man. Nobody ever seems to really hate me or care one way or another. It's just like I'm just there, plucky comic relief, having a good time, you know, like just happy to be aboard, trying to get to Hawaii on a boat.
Yeah. Well, no one's ever said anything bad to me about you at all.
I appreciate that. That means
I throw your name out there. Oh, Dustin's great. I think because you have that personality, that attitude. It's just basically you're like friends with everybody. You know, it's like there's enough for all of us to do. Let's just have a good time. Let's do it.
That's it, man. That's it. I appreciate that.
That's a good thing.
That's a good legacy, if nothing else. Like, you know, like that's good. That's more than most people can ask for. So I'd take it.
There you go. And then you just need a little museum in your house.
Yeah, that's right. A little creepy corner.
Your little creepy corner and collecting all that stuff. And you and Johnny will have that same legacy. So, well, that's good, man. I'm glad you took some time to catch up with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Absolutely. It's very nice to be here with you guys tonight, for sure. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much.
So we're coming pretty close to wrapping the show up here. Do you guys have any other questions for Dustin?
No, I think.
No. Thank you very much for coming on, though. It was great.
Yeah.
I don't think I've cried from laughing so much in one episode. So.
Oh, good. Glad to be of service. That's great.
It could be the alcohol, but
that's okay. Well, glad to share credit with the alcohol. That's also good.
Let me know if there's an opening on the cruise too.
Yeah, we'll do. If anything opens up, if one of those two guys fall overboard, I'll let you know.
They may need a chef on there to make those bologna sandwiches.
That's right.
Those are kind of tough. Those are kind of tough to do. So yeah. So Dustin, hey, if you don't mind, we're going to end the show here. And
all right,
just
brother.
Hang out for a second. Our producer wants to talk to you a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no worries.
So thank you everyone for joining us tonight for another episode of Paranormal. We need to do this more often. Hopefully we'll be back in the studio soon because the Zoom thing, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, but man, the studio is so much more fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so much more of an experience than doing all this from home.
I can't get to eat in the studio, though.
You can bring your bowl of ice cream. I'm sure they have a freezer in there someplace for you.
Talking about we brought the pizza the last.
go to Acropolis after.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for joining us tonight for another episode of Agent Paranormal. We'll be back in a couple weeks. Hopefully we'll have another guest for you. We want to give a special thank you to Dustin Pari for being here with us, taking time out of his busy life, very busy life. Trust me, I know the guy. He's always busy to join us, and we look forward to seeing you soon. And hang in there. The quarantine's almost over. We'll get through it, man. So have a good night. So signing off.